We are Blenderstyle, and the time to kill is now. Today we're talking about Cannibal Corpse Kill, released in 2006. Cheers,
Cheers,
boys.
gentlemen.
Cheers.
So I've always been into Cannibal Corpse, especially like Chris Barnes era was like I loved it. It was like some of the first death metal I ever like got into. I loved to skate to it and stuff. And then obviously went over to Corpsegrinder, which is a phenomenal vocalist. But for some reason when this came out, I was just drawn to it. I thought it was just like filled with bangers. It was like, you know, quick. It was all that I wanted of Cannibal Corpse, really quick, in my face. And with like kind of almost like a hardcore twist to it, to me, at least, just in my opinion. And I thought I'd just bring it to the table because I know we're all like, you know, Cannibal Corpse fans.
So Kill is the one that kind of jumped out at you as being one of the better of the...
I just think it's filled with like bangers, yeah.
So it was your gateway to the corpses?
Corpsegrinders.
I don't want to say it was my gateway because I was listening to like two of the Mutilated, dude. I remember just like...
Okay.
It was my shit, but I was like a punk kid usually, but like I liked, you know, Slayer and Cannibal Corpse.
This kind of spoke more your language at the time.
Yeah, but yeah, I was paid attention to him, but for some reason, Kill, I was just really stoked on Cannibal Corpse at that time.
Okay.
So it's weird that you mentioned that because I have the opposite experience. Again, I like Chris Barnes era Cannibal Corpse a lot. And when Corpsegrinder came over into the band, I was like into it. Versus like Sepultura, which for some reason that bothered me.
Nobody ever
Check out our review of Sepultura Schizophrenia. We talked
I
about.
have to say though, because not to get confused, today I am a Corpsegrinder fan over Chris Barnes.
Was it hard for you to kind of like make the connection?
Like no, because I wasn't even that invested in death metal when I was like a Cannibal Corpse fan. So I guess maybe like
So for me, it's weird because I love Cannibal Corpse, and I knew this happened, and then they released Vile with Corpsegrinder, and I was just like,
no.
All right, I'm like, all right, he can stay.
Yeah, dude.
Because he fucking
he's a
Corpsegrinder rules, dude.
Phenomenal vocalist.
Yeah, so he brings it, and everyone, and it's been like over 25 years at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But so I love Corpsegrinder albums, big time. I'm a big time Cannibal Corpse fan. Kill is the one I like kind of missed.
Yeah,
I just did not like that Kill very much, so I just kind of like did not pick up on this. I liked Evisceration Plague, which came after, and before this I like Gallery of Suicide.
Yeah, fucking killer. You know
what I mean? But for some reason, so when you picked it and you had been talking about it, and I think the internet thinks Kill's like the best Cannibal Corpse album. Like a lot of people hold
it's not my favorite Cannibal Corpse album, no.
So a lot of people, we'll come back to that because I'm curious about what you think about that. But I think a lot of people hold Kill in high regard, so I'm glad we're doing it because you were talking about it before we picked it.
I think it's just really, it's full of bangers. It's just like, there's no dragging in it, but that's kind of its downfall at the same time because it starts
you're jumping right into it. That's my beef, dude.
It starts to get a little, you know.
There's no like slower melodic stuff. It's pretty relentless. It has that Cannibal Corpse sound all the time, which I love. I love it.
I mean, if you really think about it, after Kill, they really started slowing it down.
They did. Evisceration Plague.
So I feel like Kill is also this record where there's this like kind of switch.
The transition.
And the first record with Rob back in the band, which is an old-time guitar player for them at the time. So it's kind of a vital album, and it's, you know, kind of like right now, you know, Cannibal Corpse, and this is what's great about them is, you know, they'll go through trials and tribulations and they will fucking get through it and they will fucking do it.
I mean, how lame is our show? Like, Chaos Horrific just came out. I love it. I'm listening to it. And we're like, nah, we're talking about Kill from 2006. Lame or cool, you decide. Subscribe, like, comment, whatever.
Yeah, that is pretty funny, though.
So I have the opposite of both of you guys. Matt
doesn't make any sense.
Cannibal Corpse into my head when we were kids.
Hell yeah, bro.
And I hated it.
You're welcome.
And I hated it. And then as I got older, I actually started coming around to it. But I've never actually listened to a full Cannibal Corpse album until this.
Oh.
You know, I'll say something about Cannibal Corpse. This is probably not controversial, but I think the guitar playing is underrated.
I think, yeah, I would have to agree. When I listened to this, that was one thing that kind of stood out to me was the guitar work on it. I always, like, when we were younger and used to listen to a lot of Cannibal Corpse, and I would always get pissed off about it. It was always the vocals that bugged me about it.
Oh yeah.
But listening to this, I never gave anything else a chance. But then listening to this, I was surprised. Like, the vocals don't bother me at all on this. I think
was,
they're
like,
one of the
drawn to
standout
vocals like this,
and I
dude.
think that's one of the standout points on this because it's not that annoyingly like deep that you can't understand anything. Like
He enunciates everything
enunciates
really
very
well. Yeah.
The guitar works great. My big complaint about this is the drums.
Oh, I love Paul's goofy ass drumming.
They're goofy but they're just repetitive. And
it is a
bugs
little
me.
repetitive, and he's kind of goofy.
He's a chopper, bro.
But he does.
He's a chopper.
But I will say
Chopper.
he does throw some change ups in there. Like right as you're like, okay, come on, dude, get something new. He'll throw a roll or
He keeps
something
them
in there.
like at a bar band status to a
Yeah.
degree,
Yeah.
and I appreciate it a
I
lot.
think he's actually became a better drummer in other
Oh, for
albums.
sure.
I
And
think
maybe,
he's
'cause
He's more efficient. He wears like the ninja shoes where your
Oh,
toes.
does he?
Oh.
Yeah, and he plays in those.
I
He's a
have a pair of
weirdo, dude.
those.
I love Paul. I love. You know what's great about
I love Cannibal Corpse.
I love every member of the
Mhm.
band, dude. Like
for sure.
George Corpsegrinder Fisher does like claw machines. He's a family man. He
Did you
takes.
see that picture on Instagram just a couple weeks ago? I think it was a bunch of stuffed animals that he went
Oh,
out of
yeah.
a claw machine.
And they'll just give them away and stuff.
Yeah, and I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, so my thing was like I never really gave him a chance. But like this is my first time listening to a full Cannibal Corpse album.
Is that right?
Yeah, because every time we listen to it, it's a song here or there,
Yeah.
and I'm always like, oh, okay, it doesn't bother me. But I've just never been like, okay, I'm gonna sit down and listen to a whole album.
I feel like if Nathan and I had the task of picking an album for you to listen to for your first foray into Cannibal Corpse, it would not be this one.
Okay, well, I mean,
Am
like
I
I
wrong
said,
about that?
I think you have to go Vile.
I would say.
Oh no.
I would say that my opinion of Cannibal Corpse has
What,
changed.
Bleeding?
So-
you are, yeah.
So fans of Cannibal Corpse, what's the album you would tell a non-Cannibal Corpse fan to listen to? Leave a comment. Let
Well,
us
and
know.
I wouldn't even say that I'm not
Fucking Tomb of the Mutilated, because if you don't fucking like it, Dan, you'll never fucking like it.
I think that's the correct answer.
Yeah,
But-
I honestly like. I was always a Chris Barnes fan. I love the brutality of it, but Corpsegrinder is definitely more skilled and everything.
It's
but,
more
like,
technical, yeah.
Yeah, but like the early shit is fucking death metal, dude.
It's
that
sick,
shit
yeah.
is.
So I would say that I'm not necessarily not a Cannibal Corpse fan. I think maybe back in the day I wasn't, but I think I've come around a lot more. Like when every time we're hanging out at your house or your house, we play something, and it never is something that like, oh,
You
God,
never
turn
don't
this off.
like it?
Yeah, I never
Yeah.
don't like it, but I've just never taken the time to sit down.
Cannibal
and listen
Corpse
to a
is
full
sick,
album.
dude.
Yeah, for sure.
So I was actually kind of amazed by this one.
Oh, that's tight.
So this was produced by Erik Rutan,
Mhm.
who
From the Wu-Tang Clan.
played in no,
Oh,
he's not in the Wu-Tang Clan. That
I
would be
said
sick.
Wu-Tang Clan.
He's not in,
Oh,
he's in the Rutan Clan.
oh, Wu-Tang Clan.
He he played with Morbid Angel. He's the guy in Hate Eternal.
Okay.
Sick
Famous producer.
and he's
Well,
produced,
famous for like death metal. He's
yeah. So he
Sought
produced
after.
this one, and he's kind of like this one kind of hit the nail on the head, so to speak.
Mhm.
And then ever since that, he's kind of been consistently producing Cannibal Corpse album, and he
Okay.
now in
understands.
the band.
Yeah, and now he's in the band, but now he understands the Cannibal Corpse sound because it's kind of bass heavy.
Mhm.
Because Alex Webster brings it, and there's like a drum.
Badass bass player.
So there's so much going on. It's a wall of sound. You listen to almost any Cannibal Corpse album on headphones, and it's going to sound good. That said, this one does. It sounds better than most death metal at the time,
Mhm.
but you can compare it to like I'm wearing a Sanguisuga shirt. Their latest album, Homicidal Ecstasy, sounds immaculate.
Okay.
But this is like,
Which I
The
think
begin-
that's self-produced.
is that right?
I'm pretty sure he does everything for them, the drummer.
So I don't know if we talked about it, but check out our review of Sanguisuga.
Let's check
Homicidal
ourselves before we
Yeah.
wreck ourselves,
Exorcist.
but I'm pretty sure.
So this is like kind of early sounding production that was like excellent.
Yeah.
The 90s had a different sound that was like
Oh, for sure.
flatter. This is like starting to be more ambitious,
Mhm.
but it kind of falls short.
I
Like
was,
you have to have really good headphones and it sounds good, but everything else,
Yeah, I was amazed because I was listening to it on like the speakers on the computer and then on the in the car, and you get little peaks of the bass kicking out, which I thought was kind of like, whoa, a death metal album with bass.
We're starting
which
to
was
get
kind of
there,
cool. But yeah, it kind of drowns itself back a little bit. And then one other complaint that I had about it was the drums were so far forward in the mix on this thing. Like on the car, I don't know how it sounds on the headphones. I haven't listened to it on headphones, but
I kind of like it.
on everything on like the guitar.
It is a drum heavy band.
It's a very drum heavy and like drum forward, which kind of bugged me a little bit because I feel like they could have been dialed back maybe one notch, just not to where they're still forward but not as far forward, because I feel like they drown everything out at times.
So with that said, Casey, what do you rate Cannibal Corpse Kill?
So this is my first foray into the corpse of cannibals. I gave this a 3.8. I was surprised with it. I was
nice, dude.
Amazed at how much I liked this. I mean, I'm not super surprised. Like I said, we've listened to Cannibal Corpse songs before, and they don't bug me like they did back in the day. But had you given this to me in 2006 when it came out and asked me to review it, I probably would have been like, this is shitty. So just like how much I've matured in my musical taste since then is kind of cool. And like the only complaint I really had that bugged me was just how far forward the drums were and kind of repetitive. But I loved how the mix had the bass peak out at times. I loved the guitar work. I love how the vocals were enunciated and they were clear, but they were still growling, which was cool as hell.
Nice, dude.
So these are just characteristics of just Cannibal Corpse, right?
Yeah. There's no hooks. There's no blah, blah. That's
but like when I was younger, this vocal style, I would have been like, I can't understand. It would have sounded like an old man. Like, I can't understand a word he's saying.
He's the most like articulate death metal.
The older you actually get, the more you like understand it.
So what about you, Matt? What would you rate it?
So there's no bad Cannibal Corpse album in my opinion. I like them all.
I would agree.
I give it a 4.0 out of 5.
Nice.
I think this is not even in my top 5 Cannibal Corpse albums. But it's Cannibal Corpse, so I like it. I think the other Cannibal Corpse albums have more of a theme or a mood or like something I take away. Like if I say Tomb of the Mutilated, you know what I'm talking about. If I say The Bleeding, that has its own sound. Gallery of Suicide has its own sound. Kill just kind of gets lumped in with like the mid 2000 Cannibal Corpse. None of it
stands out.
There's good songs. Like it's not bad, but it's like not iconic Cannibal Corpse for me. And but I mean, come on, it's Cannibal Corpse. I fucking love this band. 4.0 out of 5 for me. Nathan, your pick, Cannibal Corpse Kill.
It's their 10th fucking album, and they're still kicking you in the fucking balls. I give it a 4.7, man. Cannibal Corpse is a great band. This album, and me and my homie Tyler always listening to this album, drinking fucking 40s of High Life and shit. Like Kill, dude. Fucking Kill.
I'll buy you good beer.
Dude, 2006, I didn't give 2 fucks.
So it's a pretty good rating. Is this your favorite Cannibal Corpse album then?
No, it's not. But if you want to find out my favorite, like and subscribe. That was Cannibal Corpse Kill. We are Blenderstyle.
Do you have to kill right now? I'm watching Blenderstyle's review of Counting Crows.